You are listening to High School Football, where sports is the plane, comedy is the pilot, and the sweet chipper is our jet. Please sit back and enjoy the ride.
Oh, this is Brandon, aka Taco Pablo. I don't really know shoes, so I almost bought some fake Jordan just for the Mojo Festival. It was bad.
The fact that you almost bought Jordan at the Mojo Festival, right? Should have showed you where you were probably.
You got him Umo Jordan.
He's gonna get the Air Kwame.
Them Air Harambe's.
Hold on. What Jordan you wearing?
No, they were the cement fours.
They're the African dad.
Not feasible.
No. See, this is where I showed intersectionality, because I talked about color and gender as two things that are very important yet not equally discernible, because they both are very. Dude, why do you think that you have why do you think white quarterbacks are given so many more chances than black quarterbacks? Why do you think
there are less black quarterbacks?
Look, there's less black quarterbacks, but when a white quarterback in the NFL is athletic. Oh man, he's athletic. He's got the positive traits of being black. But when a black quarterback is athletic, he's like, man, he doesn't have the positive aspects of being a white quarterback. He's obviously not gonna be smart enough. It's a double standard, obviously. Just like play with women, it's play with race, gender. It's play with both. And that's where both sides of the subjugated people need to come together and start saying, hey, we both have very similar themes and correlations in what it is that is the issue for us to have some form of equity and equality. So if you want to get to that, brother, we could talk about that, because I did say gender and race. I went to gender and race ethnicity.
Let's talk about you. It's going to be a UFC/race show, because
we can talk about it. Hey, I brought it up when I said Sage Northcutt. I said Sage Northcutt got a green light to all of a sudden headline these pay-per-views, and he got his ass whooped because he wasn't ready, because he wasn't that good. But he was hyped up because he was a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white boy who won all these karate tournaments when he was a goddamn 12-year-old. And they're like, man, we gonna get that white money. I'm just saying that we need to recognize game when we need to recognize game. People have been trained, socially trained, taught, indoctrinated, however you want to phrase it, have been taught to appreciate and value certain things more than others. So if you want to talk about that, we can talk about that, nigga.
Your perception has been trained.
My perception has not been trained.
Get pumped up. It's like, oh man, he's white. He got there because because he's white.
No.
Or she got there because she's good looking. Like, not necessarily looking at it like, it's cool.
Well, Paige Van Zandt got there because she was good looking.
And then number two, it's all I keep telling you. I feel like I say this every time we have this kind of argument.
I'll give you an example.
Every time we have this argument, I'm saying it's a business. They're selling tickets. If they don't sell tickets, they make less money.
I'll give you an example.
So if they find somebody they think they can make money off of, that's who's going to go to the top. If they lose in sports, guess what? They don't get to come back again. In pay-per-view, if nobody buys a pay-per-view, guess what? Hey, we're not going to put you as high next time. I mean, it's based on who is going to buy the product that you're selling.
So here's the issue, though.
But then you're going to argue about, oh man, like, people don't want to see anybody but white people. But then you can't expect a sport to change society. Like, basically they're there to make money.
Can't.
Right? So you got to change that to make money. Just be like, oh man, I can't believe sports represents life. That's crazy.
Sport is there.
So then I'm right. With everything I said, you just said everything I said was right then.
Just to let you know.
No. That's exactly what I was just talking about. And you're like, man, you can't expect the sport gonna change life. You know, the sport just represents what is already in the world. That's what I just said with everything I said.
But you're hating on the.
I didn't hate on the women's. I said you have to understand. That's why we don't know about the women's all pay-per-view on WWE. That's why the WNBA is not interesting and is not making moves.
WNBA interesting because it's slow and nobody play above the rim and they need to lower the ramps. That's why the WNBA not interesting.
What I'm saying is you're asking somebody to change the system for you rather than saying, like, hey, why are these people represented? Let me look for these people. Let me order the women's UFC. Let me see. Let me sign a petition. Do you do that shit? No. I'll be like, oh man, hey Dana White, you need to fix racism for me right now.
I didn't tell him. No.
And promote
Dana White's gonna fix racism.
And promote more black fighters. Promote more women fighters.
You want to talk about Dana White? Dana White is gonna promote more racism. He's in the fight game. But what I'm gonna tell you. Okay, here's what I'm gonna tell you, Brandon. I didn't ask him to change nothing. I'm explaining the fact of the reason why it's not interesting right now in this time period. Because life is about moments and time, and moments within time. And you have your times to take advantage of something, and your times where the moment has passed, and you cannot take advantage of it. Right now, trying to do an all-women's pay-per-view is not the right time. And it could probably do more, just like Aaron was talking about Rosa Parks, and the girl, what's her name? I remember her name. I watched it on Drunk History.
I remember her name too. Not from Drunk History.
But I seen it on Drunk
Was
History.
it Ida or something? No.
Maybe Ida B. Wells. Just kidding. But the girl who it wasn't the right time. She was a pregnant teenager who was dark skinned. They weren't gonna get behind her. Okay, so instead they used that time to then say, hey, we're gonna go over here and get this light skinned high yellow.
This magic moment. That's for you for saying dark skinned.
Why dark skinned?
Dark skinned.
No, dark skinned. I say the dinded.
Well, that's still a magic
When you
moment.
say dark skinned, you like they got barbecue.
That's still a magic moment.
Hold on, here, I'll give myself a magic. Time out, y'all. I'll give myself a magic. While I'm saying this hot fire and letting Brandon know where it's really at.
Sorry to interrupt,
give
but your
myself
hot fire.
a magic moment.
Because this is our debate. This basically our debate.
But what I'm gonna say is that in this time, it is not the right time to be having an all-women's pay-per-view. In due time, remember that song with CeeLo in it from the Soul Food soundtrack?
It's not like you don't know the song.
In due time.
You only know the in due time.
I see the in due time.
That's the only part you know, so you don't know what the hell.
That's a tight song though. That was a tight song. Dungeon Family represent.
I really usually find the audio when you're arguing about Cat kneeling because people said that's the wrong time. So why is some people's feelings about what time and place something's supposed to happen different when it's something like you care about?
Because that's about true equity and equality versus the market.
We're talking about having the same opportunity as men. They want to have a pay-per-view.
Okay, so how many more niggas you need to see shot on telephone? No, Brett, my question is, how many more brothers do you need to see get shot on somebody's cell phone video?
You're not talking about what I'm talking about. The wrong time and place. That's what they were saying about Cat. It's the wrong time for you to kneel.
That's different.
It's the wrong place for you.
No.
Right now, you're talking about, it's the wrong time for women to try to shine right now. Like, dude, just put it on and see what happens.
Brandon.
Just put it on and see what happens.
Brandon, there's a real argument that the U.S. government and various governments around the world had the technology.
I like to note that Aaron's reading a book right now.
I just want to say,
I'm listening.
Let me finish. They had the technology by the 60s and 70s to have touchscreen technology. They had the understanding of technology to do nanotechnology. Why? Because of ancient aliens. But let's not get on that. I'm just saying there is conspiracies and thoughts out there. So let me say this. That it was possible. Do you think that somebody in the 60s, when they can't even figure out which water fountain people should be allowed to drink at, is ready for some touchscreen technology?
Oh no, they figured it out.
No, but do you think? No, it was not ready. It was not for that time. Because in the 60s, they thought everybody was wearing white. They thought it would look like an Apple store. That's what they thought the future was going to look like. Everything looks like the Apple store. No, it don't. Not everything looks like the Apple store. Okay?
Well, I don't know. When I watched the Jetsons, there's no Mexicans, no blacks, no Asians on it. So maybe, it's
an all white party, which Jesus invited me to today.
So look, yeah, he's already there too.
Anyway,
look like the future's bright.
There's nuance. There's functions that create and produce further growth, right? So the market is that, right? But when you talk about human rights, Brandon, when you talk about niggas getting shot on cell phone video, which Colin Kaepernick was talking about. Which Colin Kaepernick was talking about. Which Colin Kaepernick was talking about.
When's a good time for us to try to do the social movement thing?
When's a good time?
Apparently it's not national anthem.
No.
When is a good time? When's the right
Getting
place?
Getting an all-women's pay-per-view is not the same thing. No. This is where I totally disagree with you and your Boston mentality, my friend. Just like you and your Boston...
World Series.
Brandon's wearing a Boston Red Sox hat right now. He's juiced up because Boston Red Sox won a World Series.
You'd be juiced too.
Brandon also is the same dude
which I like to say.
Let me get to it because we're getting into some deep shit right now. Brandon is also the same dude that's representing Boston. The same Boston that had their police department honor Red Auerbach during Black History Month for his feats in Black history. Thank you, Red Auerbach, a white man, for bringing in a black player. Thank you, Red Auerbach. I'm going to tell you this, man. There's a difference between the racial discord and the markets of subjugated people, which also includes those of race and gender. There is a difference in that. There is the fact that motherfuckers getting shot on TV, motherfuckers getting shot on live camera, and nothing's happening. And you take a knee when you have your platform to, what is the word? I'm going to demonstrate. I'm going to protest. Protesting is not about making people feel comfortable. The whole issue, the fact of the matter, is that it's about being uncomfortable. It's about putting it in your face. That's what a protest is about. Michelle Watterson is not protesting anything. What she's asking for is more equity in the women's sport. She's asking for more equality in the representation of the women's sport. But the women's sport does not have nearly the same number of fighters, nor nearly the same number of quality fighters in that sport right now. So therefore, you cannot compare the two. When you say that black people have been in the United States just as long as these white people have, then we can talk. When you say these women have been fighting MMA just as long as these white men have, then we can talk. But they haven't, because the sport is not there yet. Okay? But I will say that the time that black people have put into this country, and the effort and the blood and the tears and the sweat and the actual physical labor to build this economy and this market to where it is, they have a real reason to say, hey, we would like some equity, and we would like true equality. We would like to be policed with equity and dignity and equality. Not some bullshit be like, hey man, can you put us on a pay-per-view so you can shoot us there? Nah, nigga, they ain't asked for that shit. They ain't asked to get shot up by police on a pay-per-view. Because you know what? I bet you that will sell more than the UFC women's all women's card. I'll tell you that. Hey, we're going to shoot niggas on live TV with police officers. Y'all can pay $69.99 for that. Or y'all want to watch some women fight on UFC. Y'all can pay $69.99 for that. What you ain't going to pay for it? I bet you the one with niggas getting shot by police in a ring will definitely raise a lot more money, nigga. Because which market are they playing to? Boom! I win. I'm out.
I hope everyone listening to the show on Wednesday has voted, okay? Because Jared just participated in filibuster. He just talked for 10 minutes. And then left.
Hold on, Brandon, let me tell you.
Guess what? I'm about to make my point, but guess what? He's going to cut me off again and talk for 10 minutes.
Wait, no, you about to cut us all off.
Brandon, pop me a brew.
See, hey, this is the thing that we talked about to Jared in Seattle. Like, we had a nice discussion about it, and then you always get to see. The problem with Jared with debating is that he thinks that always he has to win it. Like, he's not okay with, like, let me get my point, let me hear your point, and maybe we can each learn from each other's point and still feel how we feel, but we can learn from each other's point. His is just like, no, this is the point, this is the win, I win. There is no winner in the debate, Jared. Only a loser.
So,
and the loser's the person that can't listen. The loser's the person that can't listen to the other person.
Let me break this.
And when you yell, I win, and walk out.
I took some notes. So apparently in the 60s we had touchscreen technology.
No, I didn't say that.
It's the first thing you said. I wrote everything down.
I said.
You said in the 60s we had touchscreen technology, but they weren't ready for it. We couldn't figure out which water fountain. Take notes, Jared.
Thank you. Okay, go ahead, keep continuing.
Wait, you said there was touchscreen technology in the 60s.
I said we had the capability. There's a difference between capability. Yes, you did.
Have the right fucking glass to do it,
bruh. Capabilities.
There wasn't even computers yet. IBM was just still trying to perfect the goddamn.
Bro, there were several UFO crashes, and they were deconstructing the technology. I'm telling you, bro. Why do you think technology expanded so quickly from the like basically the 80s through the early 2000s? Technology went on a crazy ass J curve. It went on a crazy ass J curve, not because all of a sudden we're like, we figured all this new shit out. Let's patent it, put it out to the people.
We ain't got no flying cars.
It was a slowly meticulous. It was a slow meticulous process.
Well, I'm glad we deconstructed UFO so we can make fucking phones with touchscreens and not some real shit, because there's some real shit. There's no flying cars.
We can't go to the moon.
Can't go to the moon.
We can go to the moon, nigga.
We can't live on the fucking moon.
Yes, because it's crazy ass environment. It's not about us being.
We went to the moon in the 70s. We ain't been back 40 years. Because we got all this technology.
We got all this technology for UFO.
Get the fuck out of here, Jared.
We can't. The last satellite we sent, we lost. The one I was supposed to watch, the Jupiter, got lost. And you tell him we broke down UFO. Keep going, Brandon. What's next on y'all?
We got one on
so Brandon, no, you can't cut him off. He didn't cut you off. You gotta let Brandon go.
He didn't cut me off.
Just saying. So after that, we talked about market versus human rights.
Yep. Human rights is more fundamental than the market, and for you guys to value the market over human rights,
No, I'm saying.
it vexes me.
First of all, I'm recapping your points, and you give the clip notes.
We're just saying it's a sport.
No, I'm not gonna let you turn what I said into some deranged.
No, let him talk. You went on a rant.
I didn't say we had touchscreen technology
Jared said
in the 60s. I said we had the capability.
And I quote Jared said, "Niggas didn't sign up to be shot on iPhones. They're not asking for that."
Exactly. The women that go into that cage, the men that go in that cage are signed up to get punched in the face.
What?
Niggas are signed up to, you know what? You sign yourself up to get shot on an iPhone the minute you out there acting like a fool.
Next, we talked about sports versus market, right? So like equity versus equality.
We already know the difference between equity and
I'm
equality.
gonna tell you this right now. All right, so a couple notes I made. I said Steve Jobs, right? Video conferencing phone came out like the late '90s. Didn't work then because people weren't ready for it, right?
That sounds like what I was saying.
But guess what? Came back.
Technology got better.
Yeah, technology came back. Boom. Why can't they just try it now, see where it's at, and then work on it, come back to it?
What, equality and equity?
No, I'm talking about. I'm
okay.
talking about where this conversation started.
I don't know where the conversation started. I was just throwing in a comment that Michelle Watterson said, and it turned into the debate segment.
I'm trying to figure out where the fuck you going with this.
So you gave me a lot of throwaway, right?
I gave you a lot.
You just trumped me, right? You just said, like, I'm just saying a bunch of crazy shit. Maybe you don't talk about the real shit.
No.
Real shit.
Don't turn me into Kanye, bro. I'm saying some real shit, bro.
I'm just saying a bunch of
It's the 13th floor, nigga. It's a trap door. It's a trap door.
So all I'm saying is, they deserve the right for equal representation.
They do get equal representation.
And so for you, like you need to educate yourself about the female fighters and like be more engaged with them if you want to see them succeed. In the same way, you have to be as vocal about a black quarterback, whether he's good or bad, or a black coach if he's good or bad, just because you want to give them the same opportunity as somebody who's white.
But based on that logic, I can't never celebrate nothing or enjoy nothing because I gotta always be a militant rebel, person who's a revolutionary, and I can never focus on things that I want to celebrate or just take at my own leisure time as entertainment. Because everything works against the actual concept of what I stand for.
Revolutionary ain't a part-time thing though, man.
It is.
No, I know it's not a part-time thing.
When you decide to support your people, like you got to be like, hey, this.
You got to go into every decision.
Right. So if you're trying to change that cycle, like you got to really be in it. You can't just be like, hey, man, somebody should do something about that.
You know what Jesus
said? But what I'm saying is, like, you telling me one thing, yet then you're trying to break it down and change the argument based upon that goes against your own argument.
You mentioned ancient aliens, touchscreen phones.
No, because right now I'm seeing the big picture. I see the start and the beginning and the end. The end is the alpha and the omega of my argument. You don't see that. You're trying to break down all the little cycles within that instead of actually going into a real direction. No. What I said is what I said. Wow. What I meant is what I meant. I understand what I meant. I know what I said and I know what I meant. And you are only trying to break down the actual rhetoric of what I said instead of the actual meaning of what I said and how it all ties together into one whole. Damn, bitch!
Well, what I'm saying is, if there's a time and place for things, like you can't necessarily dictate when a business wants to do something, right?
Hey,
so if they want to sign another black quarterback, guess what? They got the choice to do that, but you can't complain about that if you're going to purely base it off of the market, and you can't necessarily say like, oh, it's racism because of the market. You can't say, oh, he didn't get another opportunity because of the market.
But what you said makes no sense because me just having a PlayStation 4 controller with no PlayStation or a TV makes no sense. Yet when you put it together, piece it together with a PlayStation 4 and a TV, you're like, oh, this motherfucker makes sense. That's the whole point of what I'm saying. You can't break
I have no idea what you were saying.
Alright, I'm gonna give you a PlayStation 4 controller and just be like, hey, chew on this for a while. You have fun with that. And you be like, that makes no sense. But when you tie it together with everything, with all the other parts that come with it, then you're like, oh, this makes sense. Exactly what I said.
Can I be the mediator real quick?
No, because I win.
First of all, this is the show. But anyway, when you just watch House Party 3, you think the House Party series suck. But if you watch House Party 1 and 2, then 3 still suck. But I'm getting to the point. It's like either the market's gonna dictate it, or your social morale is gonna dictate what happens, right? And in business, in the UFC or the NFL or any of these businesses, the market's gonna dictate who's gonna watch, who's not gonna watch, how much money can we make off of this? But then you try to tie that into like your social morale, like, oh, it should be this way or it should be that way. Those are two different things. And the UFC and whatever sport you're talking about are only going to represent what is actually happening socially. And then to critique that in a way. And to critique that in a way to say that, oh, they can't get this opportunity because of this. Like, there's a bunch of other things that need to be fixed before you start that even becomes a question.
I didn't say anything needs to be fixed for the women's UFC for a full card.
We said that right now, so like, why wouldn't?
I said things need to be developed. That's cultivated. That's the difference than fixed. It's something growing. A plant that is a seedling is not a problem with that. That's actually potential. That's growth. That just needs cultivation. I'm not saying there's a problem with that. A plant that has grown and has grown crooked has started to intrude on other plant lives. That is becoming a parasitic to other plant lives and is killing the other environment around it. So it's not sustainable. That needs to be fixed. That's problematic. What I said is that the women's MMA needs to be cultivated more. It's not where it needs to be for them to have their own full pay-per-view on UFC platform. Okay? So that's what I said. That's where I was at. That's what I went with. That's what I've been talking about.
They have a pay-per-view every month.
Yeah, and they
have 230 of them. They asked for like maybe one.
It wasn't actually 230 of them, but they've had a lot. And they say 230. They say all the 100. I think they started at like somewhere in the 50s. I'm pretty sure there wasn't a UFC one. I don't remember.
Can I get my pin in this argument?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
My pin is I'm upset. I'm really upset right now, and I'm upset because I feel like we wasted all this time coming up with these subjects to talk about, and we still on this damn debate over that's going in circles.
First of all.
No, because I have said the same thing the whole time.
I would like to.
Brandon took notes.
I would like to download the audio of this, and I would like you to calculate how much time I've spent talking and how much time Jared's spent talking, and then break down how much time we wasted.
I want you to calculate how much shit I said that was right versus how much shit.
Come on, dude.
I never said it needs to be fixed. I said it needs to be cultivated. It's not at the point. Just like the WNBA, they tried to start the WNBA. They needed more time to develop the women's basketball. They need more time to develop anything. Just like if you want to have an all Negro league, you know what I'm saying? The Negro league had to eventually be adapted by the MLB because nobody was going to watch at the level to make money. You need to cultivate things, but you also, as part of society. It's a reflection of society. So yes, it may never be perfect for people of subjugated and marginalized backgrounds. That's just the way it's going to be more than likely, and that's fine. No, it's not really fine. I don't say it's fine, but that's where I'm at in my understanding of it. But what I'm saying is that if you want to have advancements in certain things, then yeah, I'm going to be critical on like, hey, if you want to really advance this and you talking about doing something to advance this niche thing or this thing that typically is not mainstream, then you got to go about it really thoughtfully and really articulate the notes of your product or the notes of what you're presenting in a way that's going to allow it to really be consumed so that you can say this is worthwhile. Because if it's not worthwhile to the people who are in charge, who are typically white men, who typically just are all about that bottom line of money in their markets, then they're gonna throw you to the side. Am I wrong?
I mean, everybody's about the bottom line, right?
Not everybody's about the bottom line. There's a lot of there's a lot of stuff that goes on in communities that isn't about making money. It's about building the community. And sometimes you take a hit. You spend more money than you bring in. Some people are just like, hey, let me just break even. But it's about the legacy of this event. It's about the legacy.
You show me an organization that loses money for more than 3 years that's still doing business or still doing work.
Well, that plays into. Well, there's a lot of nonprofits. They don't make capital.
Nonprofits close faster than regular businesses.
And there's a lot of nonprofits that also last longer than regular businesses too, nigga.
Because you don't actually have to make money to stay in business. You could have a nonprofit on file and not actually do anything.
Yeah, but there's also some that do a lot of stuff. So I'm saying, like, there's places that do a lot of stuff that you don't hear about because it doesn't make money. So the people who are in charge of making money also are in charge of the media that you hear, man. They're also in charge of what you typically are gonna say. Hey, this is something that you should consume. I win.
You have to search out the things that you want to see, right? If you're not seeing what you want to see, like there's somebody making it. Like you're on Facebook and Instagram enough to find the kind of music you want to watch, the kind of news you want to watch, the kind of movies you want to watch. But if you're like, oh, I'm only going to go see movies that are playing at AMC or Regal Theaters, like guess what? You're getting fed by the bigger
The bigger machine.
Yeah, the bigger machine, right?
I don't do that.
If the machine break down, we break down.
I know, I got this. Hey, Kanye, you know, this is why I still got some respect for Kanye, even though he came out this week, y'all said he's been being used and he realized it now. But I'm going to tell you this. Kanye, Brandon, everything you saying, I got Kanye, he got a verse for you for this.
If you can communicate this product, you can make money off the product. Because look at Gaga. She's the creative director of Polaroid. I like some of the Gaga songs. What the fuck does she know about camera?
She's not. The Polaroid was out before Lady Gaga was born. This guy has to be the dumbest American in the.
See, you don't know what you don't know what you're talking about. You just react to the sound.
Why?
Because Lady Gaga.
He said the creative director.
She was on Polaroid. Had her as one of their people.
I'm not saying she is.
Listen. On the packaging of Polaroid, Aaron, it said creative director Lady Gaga, nigga.
He said the creator.
It said creative director on the packaging for Polaroid. It was a promotion they did with Lady Gaga, creative director. And he's like, she's a creative director. What the fuck does she know about that shit?
Yeah, they were just using her as a fucking...
Exactly!
We don't know.
Like
See, y'all niggas don't know nothing, man. Y'all just niggas
They're
don't
just using her like every that's just the same as Jordan being on the...
I don't study Kanye rants like Jared.
And I don't care, why do you study Kanye rants? That's just fucking foolish, Jared. That's a waste of your time. That make your argument look stupid. And I'm not even saying your argument was stupid, but it make it look stupid the fact that you listen to an idiot-ass person like him. And try to find a good part of what he's saying. No, that's stupid shit.
See, obviously you wasn't listening because everything...
I don't want to listen. I'm not going to listen. I'm going to do legit. I ain't going to listen. I'm in. I'm leaving. I'm out. I won.
No, I said I win because I did win.
There is no winner. I told you, it's only a loser when it comes to a debate and an argument, and the loser is the person that don't listen.
But what you talking about, man?
That's all it is. And I know you're going to cut that.
Yeah, I'm going to have to cut that because that didn't make no sense.
No, you're going to cut it because it's too real.
It wasn't real.
Keep it in there. Keep it in there and let's see what people say. People
like, Aaron didn't make no sense because everything, if he was really listening instead of looking on his screen time right now, he would have heard what I was saying, what Brandon was saying.
Hell no, I ain't listening to this shit.
Why?
You got I'm looking at screen time.
Heard.
At one point, I took out a book. I thought about taking out the Iliad and the Odyssey.
You would have heard why I used that clip to counteract what Brandon was just saying.
Use that clip because you like Kanye West.
No, it was nothing about Kanye West. It was about the foolishness about Brandon said.
You probably suck Kanye West if he asked you to.
I appreciate your dissent on what I was saying, Brandon.
I appreciate shit, Jared.
But
see, this is where you
want this.
This is where you get in trouble with Jared because every time like he wants to cut things off, he has to recap everything he said first. And then just add the
because that's me, like Aaron saying I don't listen in a debate. I actually listen.
No, but you don't repeat what you said.
No, I do repeat. Because what I said.
Oh my God,
because what I said, I meant, and what I meant is what I said. I'm not sitting here trying to play with your words and trying to mess around. I'm trying to incorporate your words and your perspective into what I'm saying. But I'm also trying to get you to understand that what I'm saying doesn't devalue or disincorporate what you're thinking or saying. It's already taken that into consideration, nigga.
So, all right, when you listen back to the show, right, and I said, "What about with Cat kneeling?" And
you cannot.
Is that the wrong time to play? You talk for another 15 minutes. I said one.
You cannot compare her winning pay-per-view for Cap kneeling and risking it all. I already said Cap was done for opting out of his contract. But that's the whole other thing. You go, well, he opted out of his contract. I already said that was stupid from the opt out of the contract.
I didn't know about that.
No, but we talked about it on an old podcast that we never released. Because somebody else was doing the editing. Hold on. Adaius, where you at, bruh?
No.
Shout out to Adaius. He's on our show. He's our new special correspondent.
We got less than 10 minutes, Jared.
Well, hold on. We got, Adaius. Oh, Adaius, he's here. Adaius, what you got to say? You're our special weekend correspondent. What you got to say? Sorry, there was a break in the feed. Adaius, can you repeat that one more time?
Shout out to Adaius.
If y'all didn't hear, I gotta recap what Adaius had to say.
So hear that we gotta start recording Saturdays though.
Adaius, is that right?
Come on, man. Okay. You know he's mad right now.
I don't give a fuck.
Adaius mad. He called me.
Adaius, all right, Adaius. Really,
he mad at.
Adaius, you're mad at me. I want to hear. Just tell me, what is it that I've done to upset you?
Brandon only got so much time.
Shoutouts.
What'd you say, Brandon?
This is the UFC / Brandon and Jared debate show.
Yeah,
we can call this the UFC show. It's gonna be called the Ultimate Fighting Coons show. That's what it's gonna be called. This nigga.
1 hour and 50 minutes a week.
Yeah, man, that was one of the most crazy things I ever. Like when you said that, I thought about I was like, it's like, is this Africa? Where am I growing up at? I don't know who I am. This nigga said he's an hour 50 minutes a week on his computer screen. Yes, I'm in Africa because we still call cell phones computer screens.
I was wrong, but I ain't this new Ram Dry Fit shirt.
How do you have that Palm Pilot computer screen?
I was wrong. I will admit, I was wrong.
Mr. Cosby's doing great, and Mr. Cosby knows that God is watching over him. He knows that these are lies. They persecuted Jesus, and look what happened.
Persecuted Jesus.
What happened?
He died.
He died.
Yeah, I'm like,
people still wearing RIP shirts.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Mr. Cosby ain't gonna have no RIP for him laying on the cross, is he?
I might get a shirt with him on the cross.
Yeah, Mr. Cosby.
It's gonna be Bill Cosby on the cross and said he sacrificed for all of us to have good childhoods, right? That's what it's gonna say, and it's gonna have Bill Cosby on the cross, nailed to the cross, and in one hand's gonna be a Jello pudding pop, and in the other hand it's gonna be a bunch of Xanax and sleep tablets. Because he still, even though he on that cross, he still know how to make people go sleep. You want the pudding pop? I got the pudding pop. Don't worry about what that little case it is. It dissolves in your stomach.
Alright, man, let's get these Cutty Corner Shoutouts.
Yeah, we ain't even got time for quick hitters.
What about quick hitters?
That debate took an hour, dude.
You said you gotta be there at 5.
No, Nicole's going to a play at 5, which means I gotta be back at the house by 3:40 so she can drive to the play.
Where the play at?
I don't know.
That's funny. Don't tell him. Because if you tell him, he's gonna try to decide. He's gonna try to make every minute. He's gonna squeeze every minute.
Let's do rapid fire. Quick hitters. Come on. We gotta hit some of this content. Quick hitters.
No. You need to learn that we can't stick to a debate that long or USC that long. The USC long was fine. The debate that long.
Quick hitters.
This has to be really quick.
Oh, Alabama wins.
Alabama always wins. Hate them. Can't stand them. That's what happens when you circumvent the rules and you allow fools. You allow a person, even though you get 20 scholarships a year, to somehow sign 35 and then give people track scholarships after the year start.
All right.
I heard they got a lot of niggas in Alabama. Oh, other thing. Shout out to Stephen A. Smith for having his top 5 college football poll rankings. It's number 1, Alabama. Number 2, Alabama. Number 3, Alabama. Number 4, Alabama. Number 5, Alabama.
All right, Jared, tell me about tanking in the NFL, man.
Tanking in the NFL. Hey, so the new thing in the NFL, according to the Oakland Raiders, seems to be tanking. Because that's what the Raiders are doing. They trade away all their pieces for future picks. Not even future prospects like in baseball, but they trade away all their players for future picks. And they're cutting anybody who makes money so they can hopefully sign a bunch of people in free agency.
I guess.
Well, I guess you need a lot of money to sign 3 first-round picks now, right?
Not really, not in football, because they slated to their contract.
So,
they're in position, so not really. You know what I mean? But tanking, football, stupid as hell.
The first team to do it. Browns were just terrible. The Bengals were just terrible.
Mm-hmm. But
they're the first team that actually, like, hey.
And it makes no sense, because now you got rid of your veterans, right? Yeah. And here's the thing with the NFL. You're guaranteed. Look, there's a reason why Patriots stay up top and the winning teams always still keep winning, because even though you get a late draft pick, you still get a starter in the first 3 rounds. Your first 3 rounds are guaranteed starters. So what the hell do the Raiders think they're doing? No veteran presence, no nothing? Disaster.
Oh, John Gruden thinks his visor's going to have all the pull it needs.
Disaster. John Gruden also said, it was on the Thursday telecast, he says he gets calls every day from guys in the league claiming they want to be a Raider. And that's, you know.
That's just T.O. with a bunch of Google voice.
Well, you know, who's the Booger McFarlane said? during the telecast. He said, he was like, yeah, I'm sure about them calls. He said, I'm sure it's about, he said, I don't know one guy that would call in and said they want to be a Raider. John Gruden was full of shit, basically.
We'll do one more quick hitter. Bills throwing dildos on the field.
Bills Mafia. I like Bills Mafia. I like shout out to Bills Mafia. I like Bills Mafia. Keep doing what you're doing.
I feel like
you guys a bunch of crazy.
The black holes should be doing.
Yeah. The problem is black hole. Yeah, that's all they do is fight each other. 49er fans, you fight each other. That's the biggest problem. Bills Mafia, you fight everybody. I give a shout out to Bills Mafia. Hey, keep doing what you're doing. You make the sports a better place.
And as we know,
you show me that the world's different.
Maroon 5's doing the halftime show for the Super Bowl in Atlanta. After a bunch of Atlanta artists and rappers, you know, Atlanta's a big music hub. NFL has decided to go with R&B act called
R&B group.
Final Draft.
Here's the crazy thing.
First person to tweet me back with a Final Draft song lyric.
Get something. Hey, let me tell you this. One, I looked up Final Draft, their R&B group out of Atlanta. Second part, they're still not performing at halftime. They're performing 3 miles away at the players' tailgate.
All right. Play a song, Jared.
Play a song, Jared.
What song?
Cutty Corner Shoutouts time. Jared, you on your phone wasting your screen time now.
Did you know Nathan Peterman had a game today? He had 3 picks. He threw
1 pick 6.
189 yards on 49 attempts.
It's time.
We're burning now. God, if you let it in, hell. So cold and bleeding now. I'm in for it, man. Gonna let you down. He had sex with my mama. We're broken people now. I just said I need a
You know, my Cutty Corner shout goes out to customer service. And not just customer service on the phone, customer service at festivals. Anytime you walk in down a festival and people got booths set up for either food or their merchandise, you know what everybody's doing? Looking at their phone. It's your job. You should be paid the money to have your stall there. You get all your stuff set up. You get your nice little sign telling you what you sell. And I gotta interrupt your phone time and be like, hey, excuse me, how much does this cost? Everywhere you go, like you go to the mall now. Guess what everybody's doing? Looking at their phones.
We're not talking about the people in the booth where they repair phones.
Right. Looking at their phone. I'm just saying, I would like a little more customer, a little more attentiveness, just for the people that could potentially be supporting your business. And these are not just people that are just working there a couple hours every once in a while. These are people that own businesses. They're trying to sell the stuff they make. Like they do this at home. They make the time. They get there. They set up. And now we're out here. All the people that can buy your stuff are walking by you, and you sit there looking at your phone. Hey, excuse me, how much does the Egyptian musk cost?
They can't tell me.
Right?
Can't tell me.
Oh, excuse me. How much does this cost?
Can't tell me that either. No, I can't.
Anyway, so my Cutty Corner shout goes to customer service, man. You're in business, be in business.
It's a good customer.
Handle your business.
Good.
Yeah, and that nigga owe me $5.
My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to YouTube. Motherfuckers sitting right here, YouTube brothers right here. And it's not really because of YouTube, it's really more because you're millennial brethren. So I found out this week Bad Boys 3 got greenlit to begin production. And that really upsets me because Bad Boys 2 is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. In my life.
Gabriel Union's in it.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. It's funny because Michael Bay, actually, they were like, he lost a lot of credit after doing Bad Boys 2. That's when the whole Michael Bay thing come out where they talk about Michael Bay whenever he makes a second movie of a series usually sucks. And because that was the third time he's done it, or the second time he's done it, and then after that it's just been Transformers, everything else. And so, but millennials, for some reason, like Bad Boys 2. And go watch it now. It is a shitty, god-awful movie. God-awful movie. Watch it now. The movie, the writing, everything part of the movie is awful. It is an awful movie. I was excited. I saw it in movie theaters. I was excited. I saw Bad Boys 1, loved it. 2, said they should never make another movie again.
He did go with the Chris Rock theme of soundtracks where you played the same song 16 times.
Exactly. Awful movie.
My Cutty Corner shout out goes to Jim Boeheim.
Making me say the N-word. The whole show.
My Cutty Corner shout out goes out to
Bitch ass niggas.
Goes out to Jim Boeheim, who came out a week and a half ago saying he doesn't think that any players, or 2 weeks ago, no players, college players should ever be compensated. Quoting, I don't think we should ever compensate players, he said. They get more meals now, so now they can keep their meal money. Everybody says the coach makes this and the players don't make anything. The player is 17 years old. I've been working my whole life. There's a lot of 17-year-olds that don't make money. Jim Boeheim, when you was a 17-year-old, you was expected to get a job. When you was a 15-year-old, your old ass was expected to get a job. Don't come at me with 17-year-olds wasn't making money. When you was a kid, motherfuckers was emancipated by the time they was 16 and 15. When you was a child, when you was of that age, because you an old ass, archaic ass, good white man. Anyways, Jim Boeheim, you need to stop capitalizing because you made your millions. Because you made your millions off all these black bodies, off all these teenagers, whether or not they black bodies or not. You made your millions off all these young athletes getting paid nothing, coming from nothing, so that you can sit there on your throne and cast judgment. That is the height of hypocrisy. That is the height of ignorance. That is the height
He's
of
still alive.
arrogance.
6 of his players dead.
You are one of the worst coaches I've ever seen in my life. I used to respect you before I knew what was really going on in colleges with money and sport. I used to think that you was tight because you know what? You got all the media platforms backing you and what y'all do in the college system. But man, you need to be real with the times. Change the times. Because you know what? Your players should get paid something. They should be compensated something. Because if you want to say they only should get compensated with classes and free classes, hey, like shout out to Dan Levitar's show, compensate all these coaches with unlimited free classes they can go to. Hey man, you get all the classes you want. You can use the library all you want. You get all these perks on campus all you want. You think your ass should be coaching at that school anymore? No. Thank you for listening to our show.
Can a nigga borrow a French fry?
Yeah, that's right.
Hulk Hogan, we coming for you, nigga.
Check us out on our Spotify, our Instagram, and our Twitter. Holla at us. Thank you for listening to the show. Have a good day.
Love, peace, education, tolerance of others, Jesus.
Thank you for listening to High School of Five. Please subscribe to our Spotify page for more featured content.